Welcome to Helen's Journey. Improve your English skills through this exciting story about Helen, an Ethiopian-American girl exploring Ethiopia and trying to find her birth family. Brought to you by the U.S. Embassy to Ethiopia. The U.S. invests in Ethiopians. Episode 12, Jail. Welcome back, friends. Previously on Helen's Journey, Khalid and Alamayu attended the campus protest against the cafeteria food because Alamayu is reporting on it for the student newsletter. It sounded like the protest got violent. Khalid and Alamayu got separated. What happened? Where's Khalid? Let's listen and find out.
Hello?
Hello? Is this Helen?
Yes?
Hi, my name is Alamayo. I'm housemates with Khalid. I got your number from his phone. I'm sorry to bother you. It's about Khalid.
Is everything okay?
Yes and no. Khalid came with me to the campus protest this morning. Things got out of control. The police started mass arresting protesters.
Oh my God!
Khalid was not protesting, but he was arrested by mistake with the other students.
What was he doing?
He was helping me. I've been reporting on the cafeteria food and campus protests for the student newsletter. He came to help me interview students.
I can't believe this. So he is in jail right now? Poor Khalid.
Yes. Usually the police hold protesters for a couple of days and then release them. But
Khalid and I are supposed to leave for Bahir Dar tomorrow morning.
Yes. That's why I'm notifying you. There is no guarantee he will be released in time for the flight.
Is there anything that we can do? How much is the bail?
Depends on what the arrest is for. Bail could be 4,000 to 10,000 birr. I'm not certain, but usually for students in this situation, they are released after a few days without bail.
Okay. I will contact Professor Hagos and change the flights. We will just delay our trip a few days.
Are you sure?
Yes. But do you think you could help me contact our local partners in Bahir Dar to explain why we have to delay the trip?
Of course. Let's meet at the campus gate in 45 minutes and make some calls to Bahir Dar. And then maybe we can visit Khalid at the jail and take him some food.
Okay, thank you. I'll call you when I'm at the campus gate.
Khalid is in jail. Alamayu and Helen go to visit him, and luckily at that moment, he is being released. Now they're leaving the jail with Khalid and discussing what happened. Alamayu and Helen have something in common. What is it? Let's listen and find out.
Are you okay?
I am, now that I am free.
Welcome out. I'm so sorry you got arrested. This is all my fault.
It's okay, Alex. How did you escape the arrest?
I ran. I lost you in the crowd and then I just ran away from the police. I'm sorry. I should have stayed and looked for you.
How? There were so many people and it was chaotic. I'm just unlucky. And you were lucky. Helen, I'm sorry you changed our trip to Bahir Dar.
Don't think about that. How are you feeling? Why don't we go get some food together? You must be hungry.
That would be great.
There is a place nearby with good shiro.
Perfect. Let's go there. Is that okay, Khalid?
Shiro sounds amazing right now. So, I'm glad that you two can meet each other finally, even though the circumstances were crazy and stressful.
Me too. We were so focused on the situation, we actually didn't properly introduce ourselves. Alex, I'm Helen. Khalid and I have been working and traveling together for research on communications.
Nice to meet you. I have heard all about your travels. I am Alamayo. Friends call me Alex.
Have we met before, though? You seem really familiar, like I know you from somewhere.
I don't think we have. But you also seem familiar. I think just because Khalid has talked about you before.
Weird. I still can't believe you got arrested, Khalid. Zagaye, my boyfriend, told me yesterday to avoid the protest. I thought he was just being overly protective, but now I see it was actually a dangerous situation.
Zagaye is your boyfriend?
Yeah. Do you know him?
We have talked a few times. I interviewed him for the student newsletter.
So, you two are officially in a relationship?
Yeah. Just last night he asked me to be exclusive.
Exclusive?
As in we only see each other. We don't date other people.
I see. You must really like him.
Yeah, he's a really great guy. Smart. I think he's going to be an amazing lawyer and politician in the future. Don't you, Alex? You met him. Don't you think he's going to do something incredible for Ethiopia?
Well, to be frank,
Can we order more? I'm still very hungry. Helen, would you eat more shiro if I order some?
Sure. But Alex, what were you saying?
I was saying that I actually think...
He thinks Zagaye is a very intelligent, ambitious young man. You should read the profile he wrote about him when he was first elected.
Oh, I will. Is the student newsletter in Amharic or English?
It's in English. I can give you a copy of it. Do you read Amharic?
No. Well, not yet, anyway. I want to learn. I don't know if Khalid told you, but I was born here in Ethiopia and was adopted to the United States. So I was raised by American parents, and they didn't teach me anything about Ethiopia.
Why didn't they teach you about your home country?
Honestly, I didn't know I was from Ethiopia until 1 year ago. They never told me anything about myself.
That's wrong. You should know the truth about your identity.
Maybe they were afraid you would leave them and come here.
Well, I guess they were right. As soon as they told me I was from Ethiopia, I started looking for ways to come here. I just want to learn as much as I can about Ethiopia while I'm here.
Were you angry with your parents that they kept your cultural identity from you?
I was at first. We talked to a counselor about it. Then I started to understand their perspective, and I stopped feeling angry at them. Now I feel sad for them. They were so desperate for a baby. They were so happy to receive me. And then they were afraid of making me feel like an outsider in the family and in our community. I don't agree with their decision, but I think I understand it.
A counselor? Is that a lawyer?
No, a counselor is like a therapist. Someone who listens to problems and gives advice. They help people in family and romantic relationships communicate with each other and solve problems.
That's what you do in America? Go to counselors?
Some people. It was really helpful for our family. You don't do that here?
We do, but we go to religious leaders.
Yes, we go to priestess and imams.
That makes sense. Most people here are part of religious communities. In the U.S., we have a lot of Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, and other kind of religious groups. But there are also a lot of secular people who are outside of religious communities.
Like atheists?
Some are atheists, but many people believe in God or a higher power, but they don't participate in a religious organization.
And your family?
My parents are Protestant. Protestant Christianity is the biggest religious group where I grew up in Indiana.
Imagine, if you were not adopted, you would probably be an Orthodox Christian.
Or Muslim.
My life would certainly be different if I had stayed here instead of going to the U.S. I'm trying to find my birth family. If I do, I can ask them what my religion would have been.
Alex also doesn't know his family. That's something you both have in common.
Oh?
I'm also an orphan. I grew up in an orphanage in Bahar Dar.
Have you ever tried to find your birth family?
My parents are dead. The orphanage told me they died in a fire. I was brought to the orphanage by other people in the village.
But maybe you have other relatives? Aunts? Uncles?
Maybe. I would rather focus on the future. I don't want to think about the past.
Well, cheers to a fellow orphan. May I discover my past, and may you have a bright future.
Cheers.
Do you have any recommendations for us while we are in Bahar Dar? We are doing field work from Monday to Thursday, but on Friday and Saturday we want to visit some tourist sites.
Alex, you should come with us for the weekend.
That's a great idea.
Actually, I don't have class on Thursday, so I could take the bus there. I could show you Lake Anna and the monasteries. We could go to Blue Nile Falls.
Yes, do it. You've been working so hard for the student newsletter. You should relax for a little bit.
Thank you. I will think about it.
Wow. Helen, Khalid, and Alamayu are all friends now. Will Alamayu join Khalid and Helen for a short trip to Bahadar? Listen to the next episode and find out. Now for a lesson on English language. Time for vocabulary. Let's look at 5 words from the story. Our first vocabulary term is release. Alamayu and Helen said,
I can't believe this. So he is in jail right now? Poor Khalid.
Yes, it's not a big deal. Usually the police hold protesters for a couple of days and then release them. But,
Release is a verb that in this context means to allow a person or animal to leave a jail, cage, prison, etc., to set someone free. Alamayu thinks that Khalid will stay in jail for a couple days, but then he will be allowed to leave. He will be released. The second vocabulary word is perspective. Alamayu and Helen talk about her adoptive parents. They said,
were you angry with your parents that they kept your cultural identity from you?
I was at first. We talked to a counselor about it. Then I started to understand their perspective, and I stopped feeling angry at them. Now I feel sad for them. They were so desperate for a baby. They were so happy to receive me. And then they were afraid of making me feel like an outsider in the family and in our community. I don't agree with their decision, but I think I understand it.
Perspective is a noun that means a way of thinking about and understanding something. Helen understands her parents' way of thinking, their perspective. The third vocabulary word is crowd. Khalid and Alamayu said,
How did you escape the arrest, Alex?
I ran. I lost you in the crowd and then I just ran away from the police. I am sorry. I should have stayed and looked for you.
Crowd is a noun that means a large group of people who are together in one place. The protest had a large number of people in one space, so Alamayu and Khalid couldn't easily see each other when the protesters started running from the police. Our fourth vocabulary word is familiar. Helen and Alamayu met each other for the first time.
Have we met before, though? You seem really familiar, like I know you from somewhere.
I don't think we have, but you also seem familiar. I think just because Khalid has talked about you before.
Familiar is an adjective that is used to describe something that is easy for you to recognize because you have seen, heard, or experienced it before in the past. Both Helen and Alamayu think they recognize each other. And the fifth vocabulary term is makes sense. Alamayu and Helen said,
Yes, we go to priestess and imams.
That makes sense. Most people here are part of religious communities. In the U.S., we have a lot of Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, and other kind of religious groups. But there are also a lot of secular people who are outside of religious communities.
Make sense is a common English expression used to say that something has a clear meaning, that it's easy to understand. Helen means that it is clear and she understands what Alamayu is saying. Next time someone tells you something that is clear and easy to understand, tell them, makes sense. Time for expressing yourself in English. Confirming information. Confirming information means that you heard something in the conversation, but you want to be sure you have the correct information. Let's listen to an example from the episode.
Weird. I still can't believe you got arrested, Khalid. Zagaye, my boyfriend, told me yesterday to avoid the protest. I thought he was just being overly protective, but now I see it was actually a dangerous situation.
Zagaye is your boyfriend?
Yeah. Do you know him?
Alamayu thinks that Helen said Zegai is her boyfriend. He confirms by repeating that detail with rising intonation to make it a question. Helen confirms by responding, yeah. Repeating information from the conversation, but using rising intonation to make it a question, is one way to confirm information. Next time you aren't clear on what someone said, try repeating the information with rising intonation. Time for grammar. Present perfect with ever before. In English, we can use present perfect with ever and before to ask about general experiences in someone's life. It refers to any time in the past. The present perfect is formed with have or has and a past participle verb. Let's look at some examples from the episode. Helen said,
Have we met before, though? You seem really familiar, like I know you from somewhere.
Helen is asking Alamayu if they met sometime in the past. It could be a long time ago or sometime recently. Anytime in the past. Before signals that it is any time in the past. Let's look at another example. Helen said,
Have you ever tried to find your birth family?
Helen is asking Alamayu if he tried to find his family at any time in his life. It could be sometime in the past or sometime recently. Ever signals that it is any time in the past. Next time you want to ask someone about their life experiences, try using present perfect with ever or before. Time for facts on American culture and education. Religion in the United States. Helen tells the boys about religion in the U.S. The U.S. is relatively unique because people are more likely to be religious in America than other developed countries. The U.S. is religiously diverse, with people who practice Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, Native American religions, atheism, no religion, or other religions. The U.S. Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, so all people are free to practice their faith. Helen freely told the boys that her parents are Protestant, but in the U.S., a person's religious affiliation is considered private or personal. An American might not want to openly talk about their religious affiliation with someone they don't know very well. Thank you for listening to Helen's Journey. We'll see you next time. The introduction and closing music, Blue Ska, is by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons.
Executive Producer, Hailu Kabada. Directors, Abdullah Birru, Antaneh Brahani. Sound and Editing, Tamrat Alamu. Narrator, Timothy Green. Casts, Theodros Tasama as Alamayo. Zarihun Brahanu as Khalid. Adana Gitacho as Zagaya.